Hey guys, I'm going to walk you through how to do your first lab. So how to collect your data, how to get your predicted values, how to write your equation, and basically how to do this first lab. So go to week 6, make sure that you sign up for a group or tell me who you're going to work with. Print out the lab description and rubric so you know how you'll be graded. You can download this Excel sheet to help you collect your data. Go ahead and click on this link for Desmos so that you can use this online calculator function to get your predicted values. And then you can either choose W Underground or weather.com or any other reputable site to collect data about temperatures for a particular city. So I'm going to use Jacksonville, Florida as the city for this example. So you can choose any city that you want except for Jacksonville, Florida. So I'm going to use the W Underground website here. So to use this site, just put in your city of whatever city it is that you and your group decide that you want to take a look at. And then there are going to be some tabs here. Click over to history. And then here, there's going to be some more tabs. So I'm collecting monthly average temperature. So I'm going to click on monthly. And then you're going to collect data. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that Excel sheet as well. You're going to collect data for January of 2021 all the way to January of 2022. So you're going to do this 12 times. So I'm going to go ahead and click on January, change the year to 2021, click View, and then collect that data. So there's going to be a lot of information that this website's going to give you, but you're looking for average temperatures, and I want the average, not maximum or minimum. So I'm going to record 54.22. And then you're going to repeat this process 11 more times. So I'll just show you real quickly. I'll do it a few more times here. I'm going to go to February now, 2021, view. Okay, scroll down. Right, collect that average temperature, so 57.06, 57.06. And then again, keep doing this all the way down to December. And then when you go back to January to complete one full cycle or one full period, make sure you change that year to the next year. So this will be 2022. And then record. So here, what is that? 52.27. Okay, and so once you have all of that recorded, you see I've already done that here, then the next thing that you want to do is you want to write your equation, or you're going to model this data so that you can get your predicted temperatures. So to model your data, I would go ahead and take out scrap paper, but I'm going to do this in the video in Word just to show you how in Word you can type your equations, because when you submit your final lab, you're going to want to make sure that you type everything nice and neatly. So I recommend that you use the insert function here and insert an equation. And the first thing that I'm going to write down here is how to write my equation. So I'm going to just show all of my work, and then I can cut and paste or copy and paste this into the final write-up that you're going to submit for a grade. So minimum value. Let's do this side by side. So I have my Excel sheet here. Okay, so it looks like the minimum temperature, average temperature for my city was 52.27 degrees Fahrenheit. So I can even make this fancy, go in here and choose that, where's that degree? There we go, degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, my maximum, oops, insert equation again. Okay, maximum value. Okay, so looking at my Excel sheet, it looks like it's 80.24 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, if you do everything nice and neatly in here, you can move it around in your final lab write-up wherever it needs to go. Okay, all right, so the next thing I need to do is I need to calculate my midline. So to calculate my midline, I am going to take my maximum value, 80.24, add my minimum value, 52.27, divide that by 2. So notice I'm showing all of my work. I'm showing how I'm calculating all the parts that I need to write my equation. So that gives me 66.26, and the unit is in degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to, again, include degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, what's the next thing that I need to write my equation? I need my amplitude. So to calculate the amplitude, maximum value minus midline. All right, that gives me an amplitude of 13.98, and the unit is still in degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. All right, the last thing I need to do is to figure out what my period is, and then from the period, I can calculate that coefficient K. So the period is 12 months, okay? And then we know from this unit that the period is equal to 2 pi. So 2, and then I can also use my equation insert to insert pi, okay? It's 2 pi over that coefficient value of K. So to get K, let me insert equation again, okay? So K is equal to 2 pi okay, over my period, which is 12. So this is going to give me a K value of pi over 6. And that's what I'm going to use in my equation. So pi over 6, pi over 6. Okay, all right. If I go back to my Excel sheet here, I need to figure out if this function is going to be a sine function, a cosine function, positive sign, or excuse me, negative sign or negative cosine. So to figure out what that graph is going to look like, you can have Excel create that graph for you. So I'm going to highlight these two columns and I'm going to go to insert and I'm going to insert from here the scatter plot that's connected with a line. So here you can see that my actual temperatures for Jacksonville, Florida, it looks like it is a negative cosine function. So back here, this tells me I'm going to write a negative cosine function to model my actual data. So y is equal to negative, I need amplitude, which is 13.98, cosine, okay, and then my coefficient of pi over 6. So I'm going to do pi over 6. There's no shifting here for that negative cosine function. So I'm just going to type in x and then add my midline. So the midline here is 66.26. So there's the function. And then when you're writing your lab, make sure that you identify what y stands for, make sure you identify what x stands for, but you'll do that in your actual lab write-up. So now that I actually have this equation, all right, to get these predicted temperature values, so to get this column, I'm going to use Desmos. So go ahead and bring up the Desmos website. Let me try to do this side by side. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to type in this function, but I'm going to call y f of x. So f of x is equal to negative 13.98 times cosine of pi divided by 6 times x plus 66.26, okay? All right, to get the graph, I'm going to manually adjust my x-axis and y-axis so I can actually see the graph. So you can do that by clicking on this little tool button up here. And then on the x-axis, I'm going to change that from 0 to 12. Okay, and then for my y-axis, my minimum value for Jacksonville was 52 degrees. So I'm going to just round down to 50 degrees. And my highest temperature was around 80 degrees. So I'm just going to round up to 85 degrees. And then now you can see the actual graph of the function. And it does look like it's negative cosine. So there is the graph of my function. And now I'm going to use Desmos here to evaluate this function when x is 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 12 to get my predicted value. So your predicted values are going to be the monthly average temperatures that is predicted using the equation or the model that you got from your actual data values. So you can actually type in f of 0 here. And you can see that Desmo put 0 into the function f of x for when x is 0, and it gives us an output value of 52.8. So now let me put this side by side next to my Excel sheet, and this is what I'm going to type into this column. So the model that I came up with predicts that for January of 2021, the temperature is 52.28. And then you're going to repeat this process by inputting in all the different values for x. So now it's 54.15, and you're going to do this all the way until you finish the entire column. So let me go ahead and do the last value here, 52.28, and then you'll see here I've already put all the data in. So I've got three columns here, my X values, my months, and then the actual temperatures and the predicted temperatures. And then now what I can do is I can create another scatter plot that plots the actual temperatures along with the predicted temperatures, just so you can see how well your model, so how well does this equation model temperatures for your given city. So I'm going to repeat that process where I'm going to insert another scatter plot this time, right? Because let me show you slowly. Okay, let me start over. So I'm going to highlight these three columns, insert, okay, that scatter plot. And now you can see that I've got this really nice scatter plot where the blue curve represents my actual data values, and then the orange curve you can see is the predicted values. And so we can see that our model actually models the actual temperatures pretty well. And you can see some places where there's more of a larger residual, but it models it pretty well. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to copy and paste this chart into your Word document when you do your actual lab write-up. But we want to make sure that we actually title it and make it look nice and pretty. So up at the top here where it says quick layout, if you click on that, you can choose the option to change the title. So again, just double click, and then just make sure that you title it nicely. So, maybe you want to title it average monthly temperatures for Jacksonville, Florida, USA. And then down on the y-axis here, obviously change that to temperature, degrees Fahrenheit. And then down here, and you might want to change this. I'll say, let's say this is months since January 2021. Okay, so just make sure you label everything, make it nice and pretty. And then once you do that, you can actually copy and then paste this into your Word document. So when you're doing your lab, there are 6 main sections, so you want to make sure that you have a cover page. Maybe in the cover page, you include things like a nice picture of your city. Make sure you include the statement and purpose. In the third section, model and equation, this might be where you want to copy and paste. So this might be where you might want to copy and paste some of your work here to show how you created. Ooh, we don't want that. How you created your model, okay? For the data and graph, this is where you might want to copy and paste your graph. So again, let me redo that. Copy, okay? This is the section where it would be appropriate to paste that, okay? And again, you're gonna wanna title it and everything. I didn't do that because I'm trying to make the video not as long as I'm trying to make it as short as possible. And then in the analysis section, there are 3 questions that you want to address there, and then make sure you include a conclusion. So I hope that this helps you get started on your lab. If you have any questions, please email me.